Now. Alright guys, here we are. Hello and welcome back to the Top Experts League. This is the group stage still, and this is going to be between Slam and Mr. Yo. And up to the very north of the map here in the blue trunks, we have got Slam himself playing as the Huns. Note that Tyrant tag. Yes, he's a member of Tyrant. And down to the southwest of the map in the red, we have got Mr. Yo, aka Bah. I don't know why he's changed his name. Maybe he's just having a bit of a bad day. But yes, Sai Bah, aka Mr. Yo, playing as the Huns in the red over here. Now, obviously, the first game in all of these sets are going to be an Arabia Hun War. And that is, I think, a good way to start things off, actually. I mean, Arabia Huns is one of the, bread and butter setups of AOC, as I've called it many times before. And that is a good way to kick things off. It's a great way to get players moving their fingers quickly and not really messing around, not really, going in on any weird maps to start with. Starting them off with something they know, something they're comfortable with, and something that is a real pure test of speed and execution of strategy. So I've just noticed real quickly here that my overlay is not coming up. There we go, there it is. I can read the chat in game. I finally got around to adding this feature in, so I can see what you guys are saying on the screen whilst I'm casting the game, which is all good indeed. So, hopefully that doesn't distract me too much, because that's the first time I'll be doing that. But anyway, we're going to have a look at the players' maps and, of course, talk a little bit about what strategy they could be going for. So, obviously, we'll look at Slam first. He's up in the blue. His berries aren't too bad here, actually. They're not too bad. He can mill that very easily. They're quite protected from a drush, which is always a possibility in the Dark Age with the Huns. But look at that boar, that's really far away. And Slam as well, luring deer from miles out. I mean, this is like halfway between Yo and Slam here. And Slam, yeah, just gonna lure that deer in. He's got time. He's got the extra APM to spare to get this deer back to this TC. And of course that deer is going to be crucial, because the moment 4 villages over to wood, we may actually see a drush from Slam. And I don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, it could still be a nice scout rush, but judging by the fact he's sent 4 villagers to wood, judging by the fact the Huns don't need the houses, that saving of wood there is definitely going to mean an early barracks and an early drush. And I think, kind of makes sense that Slam has done that, because other than the nice berries and the backwood, which isn't the best because it's kind of small, his map's pretty dire. Let's be honest. This gold here is really far away from the TC, very open. It's at the bottom of a hill as well, which means that archers, anything up here is going to get an attack advantage going downhill. And of course, we've got the gold right out on the front as well. So it's going to be a little bit tough for Slam to protect that. And I think going aggressive with the drush here is going to pay off very nicely for Slam in this position. Should be all good in the hood for him if he can get the drush off and end up defending his map later on. Now, this boar is still a little bit concerning. I don't know if Slam's actually found it. I mean, he must have done. Yeah, there it is. Boar at the front. But this is really worrying that Slam is leaving this boar out here. Mr. Yo could have very easily stolen that if he wished. He could have just attacked it with the scout and brought it right back to his TC. But I think Mr. Yo being very honorable here and letting Slam take his boar, even though it's way out on the front, and he could have totally stole that right there. So for Slam at the moment, he's not got the best map, and we're going to have a look at Mr. Yo's map right now as well. So Mr. Yo's map is, again, not the best, but it isn't as bad as Slam's, I would say. The reason I say that is he's got quite a lot of tree cover here, a very easy wall on this left side, a very easy wall on this right side due to all this, all of these trees, all of this stuff over here. Very easy for for Yo to wall it up. And he's got a back stone as well, which means any towers coming in, he can very easily protect that, take some stone and put up a defensive tower. The biggest downside here to Yo's map is, of course, the fact that he is in a little bit of a crater, as someone said in the chat a little earlier on. It's not good in that respect because, again, that attack bonus going downhill is going to hurt Yo if he's on the receiving end of that. And of course, if Slam is doing a drush, which it actually seems like he's not, which is rather interesting. If Slam was to do a drush though, or even come in here with some scouts, attack bonus down on these villagers, gonna take them down all that little bit faster as well. Now I'm interested why Mr. Yo hasn't bothered taking any deer. Obviously he's spent a bit of time scouting here, but he's not got that much. He's not got that much in terms of vision of the map at the moment. I mean, he's scouted his local area, but looking at the scouting he's not done a huge amount. He's only just finding Slam's wood now. Now, he could have spent a little bit of scout time just pushing one of these deer into this this mill, and I think that certainly would have been worth it, as it seems like we will be seeing scouts from both players at this stage of the game. So Slam, no drush from him, though it did seem likely to begin with. But instead, he is going to be sticking up that barracks on the left side, and we'll probably see a stable coming down from him. And I think Slam's priority here is to make sure he can protect that gold. We may see a kind of wall-off coming in along the hill here to try and just help protect this and keep it safe behind that wall if he does go for a wall at that location. Now, Slam is definitely not going to wall across here. Well, if he does do that, I would be very shocked, because that will just leave that gold even more open to archers, which is what these guys are going to be switching into once the scouts come out and they are getting low on food. So at the moment, Slam really delaying any farms whatsoever. There's no farms up for Slam at all, and the same could be said for Mr. Yo here. Both of them up to feudal now. Slam a little bit further ahead, and Mr. Yo is coming forwards, and yeah, there's that wall off from Slam along the hill. Mr. Yo coming forward though, 5 villagers, and I mean, this is a fantastic opportunity for Mr. Yo now, because if he can get a good forward on Slam, then that's going to pressure him right from the onset of this game, and that is going to be very tough to deal with. Slam putting up an archery range, interestingly enough. I'm not sure why he's going for an archery range first. This is confusing, because I mean, you think about it, Mr. Yo now is blocking this wall off. He cannot secure this, and he's even putting an archery range up right in that wall off there, which is obviously going to cause a few problems for Slam, and that's going to really pressure this gold from, well, Mr. Yo is really going to pressure this gold. Now, Slam reacting with a couple of spears, getting up a archery range very quickly, and he's going to try and take some gold here. He cannot afford archers. Well, he can afford 1 archer, but that's it for now. And it seems to me like this fight is going to be very, very messy. Mr. Yo going to take down, by the looks of things, well, nearly take down that scout from Slam. But Slam's spearmen getting involved as well. All the spearmen, in fact, getting involved. The villagers having a right old fight. And the first villager goes down for Mr. Yo. That makes Slam slightly further ahead, bringing his villagers back, as another villager now down for Mr. Yo and for Slam as well, making it 2-1 in terms of villagers lost. But this is an absolute mess of a fight on the front here. The spearmen, very useless in this fight, but certainly adding a little bit of substance to this army, and I'm surprised that these guys are just going at it with their villagers. This is awesome, and looks like more villagers going down for Mr. Yo here. I don't know if this is actually paying off for him at all. We'll have a quick look at the military stats, and it's 6-all in terms of kills to losses. And suddenly, Slam's getting ahead, 9-7 units, and this was a fantastic defense. He did not hesitate there. He got straight in, and it paid off by the looks of things, because Mr. Yo has lost all of these forward villagers, and he is running away as Slam just walls up this archery range, and that was fantastic play by him, managing to defend and use that hill to his advantage, not messing around there, getting those spearmen out, getting those skirmishes out, and putting everything he's got into defending his base here. So Mr. Yo, surprisingly, has the score lead, and he did lose a few villagers there. Now, I'm not sure if they lost the same amount. We'll have a quick look at population and check. Yeah, Slam with 4 extra villagers at the moment, which means his economy is in a good place for now, and that early advantage in economy could lead to quite a substantial advantage as the game goes on. So that's really nice, in fact. I mean, a 4 villager lead at this stage is pretty huge, and that should allow Slam here to just defend. Now, obviously, if he chases these skirmishes around with his villagers forever, that's not going to be the best, but at the moment he's doing the damage, he's taking them down. We see those bodies sort of littered around the map, and I'm wondering what Mr. Yo's response to this is going to be. As, well, It seems like Mr. Yo not going to bother to wall up at all for now, and he's putting up an archery range back at home. He's got a lot of farms up actually, and of course that is definitely required. But no gold income for Mr. Yo at the moment, and obviously this gold pile on the left could be very easy for Slam to harass should he wish to do that. But this is nice. Slam's now got this archery range walled up, and Mr. Yo is going to lose this skirmisher as well. So, really good stuff from Slam, actually. Fantastic start to the game for him. And his score is now a good 100 points ahead. And I think Slam's going to be feeling pretty confident about that start, to be honest with you. He's really pulled that one off very well as he brings his villagers back to base now and defends, well, fantastically. He's got this wall off as well. And although, yes, there is an archery range here, he just had the wall off, and it means he can start taking some gold, and he can start that production of archers. Now, I'm surprised that Slam's not quicker to get on the counter-attack here. He's continuing to wall up these buildings, which is understandable, but Slam could probably really try and make a counter at this point. I can understand why he might think that Mr. Yo may go around the other way or something like that, but there's no reason at this stage for Slam to hold back. Obviously, Mr. Yo is not attacking anymore, and Slam, I think he's got a reasonable defense here with the walls. He could be sending these skirmishers out to look for some kills. Now, Mr. Yo, 3 ranges back at home. It looks like we're going to see, wait, it's not 3 ranges, it's 2 ranges and a blacksmith. But either way, Mr. Yo's quite invested here. He's lost a good amount of wood from this archery range being lost, and having built 2 more, which is really necessary if he wants to defend. We may see a fairly long feudal war here by the looks of things. I'm kind of hoping, actually, that we see a pretty long feudal war here, because they are the more interesting games that we see. The long feudal wars are always ever so exciting. So Slam now able to keep archers coming out. He's got 7 villagers on the gold, which is exactly what he needs, and he will need another one on gold as well if he wants to start getting those researches from the blacksmith. He's doing fletching at the moment, and that's the real crucial one, the real important one. But again, Slam could really be pushing out now. He could be preventing these villagers from taking any deer. He's got a clear army advantage. We're looking at 14 military to the 8 of Mr. Yo, and they are both even on upgrades as well. So I am very surprised that Slam is remaining defensive here, and I think that could be a pretty big mistake from him, actually. He is just sitting in his base waiting for Yo to make the move, and we've talked about this many times already. Actually, I bring this up a lot. I'm talking about reactive and proactive play, and in this situation, Slam's being very reactive. He's being very passive, and he's waiting for Mr. Yo to call the moves, and to make the moves, and also waiting for Mr. Yo to call the shots as well. Slam, though, should still get an advantage when they push in. Mr. Yo definitely outnumbered here, and padded archer armor for Slam done as well. So that's +1/+1, meaning that he does have an advantage over this army. So again, this should be saying, Slam, man, go forwards, actually fight this, and get some more damage done to a very unwalled Mr. Yo. I mean, if he comes around here, he could completely cut these villagers off, just for one example. But at the moment, Mr. Yo is taking all these deer. He is actually really on the gas with his food at the moment, and he's continuing to pump out skirmishers, ignoring archers for the time being. Now that's all well and good, but Slam, again, upgrade advantage. He has actually got more skirmishers out on the field as well. And this for Slam should be a really big push now. He should be able to do a very large amount of damage. Now, villagers being pulled over, of course, they are actually pretty decent at killing skirmishers off. But with +1/+1, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult. And with archers mixed in, that again is going to make it more difficult. Now, what I'd like to see here is Mr. Yo microing very, very hard. Slam actually doing a really nice thing here, splitting his army into archers and skirmishers. The archers should be focusing down the villagers, and the skirmishers should be focusing down the other skirmishers, whilst Mr. Yo just wants to focus down the archers, and he's done exactly that. In fact, he's done a very good job of doing that. Just 3 archers remaining for Slam, and Mr. Yo so far this tournament has actually had very good micromanagement, and even though even though his micro has been decent here, it might be very difficult for Mr. Yo to pull this one off, though it seems like he might just do it. These villagers here really taking their toll on the skirmishers in this fight, but obviously the archers behind here trying to focus them down. But it honestly seems like Mr. Yo might actually clean this army up, which is pretty surprising considering that Slam had a huge army advantage going into this. Obviously Mr. Yo focusing those archers down, and even though he did have an upgrade disadvantage for a while, that's pretty impressive stuff there, and he knows that he can pull those villagers into fight and get away with it. Fantastic defense from Mr. Yo, and the question is, what cost did that come at? He lost, what, 3 villagers? And we're looking at a 6 villager lead now for Slam. And that is, again, like I said earlier, huge. I mean, 6 villagers is massive when you've only got 39 population. That's a big difference. I mean, we're looking at a 13 population lead for Slam overall as well. And Slam now should really feel comfortable in this game. He's going to go up to the Castle Age any second now as well. We've got a stable coming out at the front, and well, he's probably going to switch into Cavalry Archers, and that stable will most likely be for the Bloodlines upgrade. But other than that, I mean, Slam has got a solid, really solid lead in this game, and honestly, I don't know what Mr. Yo is going to do to really make a comeback from this. I mean, he's not up to the Castle Age yet, though he has got a ton of food income. Obviously, taking these deer, well, he was taking those deer, now he's got idle villagers. But after taking these deer at the front, I mean, look at this mess, that's fantastic. He's definitely got a good amount of food and a decent amount of farms here to keep the income coming in. But look at those villagers on gold. We're looking at 9 villagers on gold there, which is enough to make archers from 3 ranges. Just about. I mean, he'd need 10 actually, and also the gold mining upgrade, but ignoring that fact, he can nearly make 3. Obviously those extra villagers there just so he could afford the Castle Age upgrade, but this is really bad. Mr. Yo losing another couple of villagers on this gold here, and he's down by so many villagers at the moment. A quick wall at the back with that stable and the palisade, and that will allow Slam no further entry into Yo's base. But really, this is looking pretty messy now for Mr. Yo, and Slam gonna get cleaned up, that's for sure, but he might get a couple of archers out of this if he's focusing down those archers there. But it seems like, again, fantastic micro from Mr. Yo, and he will avoid losing a single unit, it seems, to these archers. So Mr. Yo is now up to the Castle Age as well, and Slam is pretty much there. He's on 85%. He is very good in this position at the moment. Like I've said already a couple of times, we're seeing a second stable come down though, and that does say to me we will be seeing knights rather than the cavalry archer switch. We may still see the crossbow upgrade coming in because there are a few archers here, but I don't know if that's actually worth it. We're looking at what, 7 archers? He's still going to do the crossbow upgrade, and he's doing chain barding rather than bodkin arrow. So obviously the crossbow upgrade is cheaper than the bodkin arrow upgrade, so it's worth getting that just to buff these archers a little bit, but it's probably not worth getting bodkin arrow at the moment unless Slam is up against Mr. Yo's knights, or if Mr. Yo even goes for knights in this position. Mr. Yo, 3rd range going down. We'll probably see a 4th range coming up here as well, and that means we will see cavalry archers from Mr. Yo. Now this is a real kind of important part of the match here, because knights are fantastic in the early Castle Age. They are really strong. Obviously, once you've got that +2 defense and bloodlines, they are going to be doing a lot of damage to villagers very quickly. Whereas cavalry archers, they kind of take a little bit more of time. They take a little bit more of a while to get the mass up that you need to combat knights effectively. Now, obviously, in a 1v1, the knight's going to come out on top. But once you get enough cavalry archers out, then the knights really start to lose that edge. And this is where it's going to become really dicey for Mr. Yo now, as he is going to be switching into Cavalry Archer. Now, fortunately for Mr. Yo, he has got a good amount of archers already, I think. Although saying that, maybe not. He's only got a couple insider here. He's doing the crossbow research now. I'm starting to wonder if that's going to be worth it at all. These knights going to clean up a lot of these units outside of this tower. Fortunately for Mr. Yo, he's not lost too many villagers. 1 going down, but this entire army going to get cleaned up. And Mr. Yo should cancel the crossbow upgrade right here, because it is not worth spending those resources on upgrading about 5 units. It is just simply not worth it. And Slam looks fantastic as he comes in now and starts cleaning this up, taking down these villagers, and Mr. Yo really doesn't stand much of a chance at all in this situation. We're not seeing any cavalry archers coming out from him for now. He's just queuing up more crossbows. Cavalry archers perhaps a little bit too expensive, but these villagers getting walled in to the gold is good enough for now. But he's lost a lot of villagers, and Mr. Yo is down by a total of 13 villagers at the moment, which again, I reiterate, is huge. He's defended for now though, which is a very good play. But again, at what cost? More villagers being lost every time. And Slam's just getting away with this, and he's got Mr. Yo on the defensive. Slam now sticking up that siege workshop at the front, and we've got a second and third TC up for Slam as well. So his economy's looking great. He's getting ready to go very offensively with this siege workshop as well, and we may see some mangonels coming in, and that's going to be devastating. I mean, a mangonel on this hill is going to have an attack bonus against the watchtower. It's going to have an attack bonus against this TC, and all in all, that's going to be very difficult for Mr. Yo to combat unless he gets mangonels of his own, or maybe a couple of knights from the stable at the back. He does have... Oh, wow, okay. I was going to say he does have bloodlines. I thought he would have bloodlines, but he doesn't have bloodlines yet. So, obviously, gold is becoming a real problem for Slam at the moment. Sorry, not Slam, for Mr. Yo. Gold becoming a real problem for now, as he's got very little gold income. No gold being taken on this right-hand side either, and it obviously is second and third gold being way out of the picture at the moment. So gold, as I say, a real problem, and he can't switch to trash at the moment either, because obviously skirmishes will be useless against knights. Spearmen will be useless against knights in this position as well, because spearmen just will get outran, outpaced, and they'll need upgrading to pikemen if he's going to have any chance of defending as well. And here comes now the mangonel from Slam, and this is looking very grim for Mr. Yo at the moment. Like I said earlier, he cannot get that massive cavalry archers he needs without a big time investment, and Mr. Yo now opting for a monastery. I don't know what I think to that decision. It could be very effective, but at the same time, where's he going to get the gold from to make the monks? And it's a little bit too late, I feel. It really is. So this is really worrying, like I say, for Mr. Yo. He's continuing to lose his cavalry archers on the left side. Villagers getting taken down left, right, and center. 20 villager population down. And Mr. Yo, surprisingly, still hanging on in there. But I don't know how much longer for. He cannot finish this monastery. And I don't care who you are. At this stage of the game, Slam has got this in the bag. Really, he has. He's struggling. Mr. Yo is struggling to take gold still. This watchtower really on the verge of going down. But Mr. Yo once again does repel Slam for now. And he's just really in a tough spot. So Monk coming out for Mr. Yo. Now this could definitely help. If he gets a couple of conversions, he could begin to turn this around in terms of military count. But at the moment, well, Mr. Yo has no military. He's got nothing. Slam has 12 military units. Mr. Yo has none. The score is looking well in favor of Slam at the moment, with 1,000 points in the lead. And Mr. Yo is just sitting at the bottom of this hill, taking a beating from these mangonels and getting absolutely run over by these knights. So mangonel's coming in. He really wants to take down this tower, because until the tower goes down, he can't push into the town center. So I think the tower position here from Mr. Yo is fantastic and certainly very well thought out, but against these mangonels, it's just not going to be enough, and the tower will fall as Mr. Yo loses a villager or two, 3 even, in the process. This is looking so bad now for Mr. Yo, and Mr. Yo trying to get a couple of conversions with these knights as well, but the mangonels just being way too much of a problem for him. Sitting on this hill, taking down this TC, and I don't know what Mr. Yo is going to do in this position. I mean, the Monk's certainly going to help somewhat, but a siege workshop now coming down, and Mr. Yo going to be looking for some mangonels of his own. We've got another tower going up on the left-hand side, once again, to help defend this, because at the moment, towers are the only thing that can hit these mangonels for Mr. Yo. He can't convert them with his monks. He doesn't have the techs for that yet. And, of course, a Siege Workshop here will be an answer to these mangonels. But for now, I think it would have probably been worthwhile to invest in a couple of knights to try and take these down. They may have died to the Knights of Slam, but at least he could have got rid of the mangonels and saved his town center, which is falling as Mr. Yo now rebuilds on the left-hand side to try and get some of this gold and stone. This is a real problem because his base is literally cut in half. A lot of these villages are just sort of in the middle of nowhere, and this is opening a pathway for Slam to walk into. Not to mention, Slam has been untouched back at home. He's got, let's have a look, there we go, 50, 60, 30 villagers over. He's got 30 villagers more than Mr. Yo at this stage, and Mr. Yo is hanging on by a thread at this stage of the game. Siege Workshop again coming up at the front for Slam now, and Slam really kicking this into high gear with the military production. More knights streaming out. And there's the knight from Mr. Yo, actually. I think that was a fantastic choice. I don't think he'll get the mangonel, though. Just way too many knights from Slam. And that was a nice try, but it just wasn't enough. And we've even got cavalry archers from Slam now. And there's the resignation from Mr. Yo. Wow, Slam, what a fantastic game. Mr. Yo surprisingly held on longer than I thought he would. I really thought he may have just resigned that one much earlier once he saw those mangonels coming in. But yeah, I mean, just too much firepower from Slam. And I've got to say, Slam did a fantastic job of defending considering how terrible his map was. Unfortunately for Mr. Yo, I feel that game was mostly lost at the point where his forward failed. That was a huge cost, not only in the wood cost, but in the villages that he lost as well. And it's very difficult to take that or to make that difference up once your opponent gets ahead in such an early stage of the game. So very well played by Slam, and that's going to make it 1-0. We're going to go to the second game in just a moment.